Hello people, welcome back to yet another video. Let's talk about Arsenal. So today I wanted to talk about two things. First, the game against Burnley, and second is this article, or I should say this comment made from Martin Keown. So let's kick in. Now first of all, the game against Burnley. Not much to be said here. Not our best game. Job done. Probably the most important thing. I don't think the team played particularly well, but I don't think they even tried. Obviously, this season, this is the way Arteta is asking them to play. He doesn't want the team to overplay itself, if I may say so. Just get the job done and try to spend as much strength as you can. Let's put it this way. Just don't oversteam, basically. So the one worrying thing is Kai Havertz. Just he doesn't look like he fits this team. Even when the team doesn't look good, even when the team is not playing their best, he still looks like he's like 5 levels below everybody else. And that's the worry, I think. I think Arteta needs to take him out of the team for a while. Just put him on the bench for a couple of games. Let him lose this media attention, at least for a couple of weeks. Maybe play him in games that don't matter that much. If we manage to win the game against Lens, which we should, and we secure that top spot in the group, then you can play him in PSV, some youngsters behind him. But yeah, at this point of time, it doesn't look good for him, really. If he continues like this, yeah, I mean, at some point Arteta will have to sort this, because it just doesn't look great. So, other talking points of that game, I think that probably the most frustrating thing is that we allowed that goal. Not very good positioning by Tomiyasu, or I should say, he kind of underestimated the Burnley player. He had the control. He had the ball in his feet. I don't understand why he just didn't try to pass the ball back to the goalie, or just kick it to the corner, but tried to overpower, lost the battle, and they scored. Didn't cost us, but again, just put the team under unnecessary pressure, right? So I think it's more of a lack of a concentration at this situation, but yeah, a bit frustrated with that. Other than that, the team played well, not particularly well, but well enough to win the game. So you can see the table here. Looks great, right? Equal level on points with City. Obviously, they have to play the game against Chelsea. The second best attack in the league. Sorry, third by the looks of it. Very good defensively. Again, most of those goals are absolutely unnecessary, but as I said, I mean, as long as they're winning the games, it's okay, I guess. But at some point, they will have to press on a bit, because we will have to play City away. We'll have to play United away. It's always a hard game. It's a derby. We'll have to play Spurs away. By that time, they probably will get all their injuries back. We'll have to play Liverpool twice. So there are a lot of tough games incoming. So you cannot play like that in those games. We already know that. I've been bragging this from the start of the season, and as I said at the start of the season, you can get away with this sort of performance against lower table teams, but once you play the better teams, you pay the price. And we saw what happened against Chelsea. We saw what happened against Spurs. Newcastle, again, you may think it was a goal, you may think it wasn't a goal, but the performance was shit. Even the game against Fulham, we just threw away 2 points there. So yeah, they have to step up a bit. That's for sure. So yeah, not much else to be said on that game. Not particularly entertaining game, but job done. 3 points in the bag, second place for now. So we're all happy. Now the second point I wanted to talk is this. So basically, this is Martin Keown's opinion on that Newcastle goal, and what the Premier League Refereeing Association, whatever the hell their name is, said after, after a week of reviewing it. I don't understand why they needed a week, but anyway, I'm not gonna say if it's a goal or not. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm unbiased here, but basically, they came out with this. What the hell is the name? Independent key match incident panel, right? Opinion. Now, I think that a lot of YouTubers already, YouTube football content creators already asked the question, who the hell is part of this panel, right? And I think Martin Keown basically shows why we need to know who is there. Now, obviously, Keown will defend Arsenal. He is Arsenal, ex-Arsenal player, Arsenal legend. So, my point here is this: if you're a Newcastle fan, let's say in this case, right, and let's say Keown is part of this panel. Let's say they take him. Let's say it's Keown, Gary Neville, and Jamie Carragher. I don't know if it's them three, but let's say it's them three, right? Part of this panel, and they come out and say, look, it's not a goal, right? This goal shouldn't stay. And you're a Newcastle fan, you will say, well, wait a minute, who is defending, our team, right? Because obviously you have a pretty biased panel then. Keown will defend Arsenal, maybe Gary Neville will not, and Jamie Carragher, I don't think he cares. Now, this is exactly the reason, right? Or for example, if you're a City fan or if you're a Chelsea fan, right? You look at the Spurs fan, you look at this panel, and you say, well, wait a minute, who protects our team? So that's one thing, right? The second thing is, it just shows that they're not even the refs. They're not even sure in themselves anymore, because basically what they did is there was a lot of pressure about this goal, and to cover their asses, what they did is they came out with this stupidity to say like, well, look, we asked some ex-players, we're not gonna say who are those players, but we asked some ex-players and they said it's not a goal. Like, seriously, you are the refs, you're supposed to make those decisions and make them right. Now, of course, there will be mistakes, right? We all know that. Of course, the game cannot be perfect, but at least use your brains before do something, right? Because for me personally, this is the worst thing that happens with VAR. This particular situation, because basically what it shows is that they will use everything to prove they're right, and that's the problem. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said, it's not just this situation, right? If we look last year, the United City game at Old Trafford, that Marcus Rashford goal, right? A lot of controversy about that goal. And imagine this panel comes out and says, yeah, the goal is okay, it should stay. And then we learn that this panel is Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville. And if you're a City fan, what would be your first question? Who the hell protects us, right? Spurs, Liverpool, right? Now, obviously, Liverpool got absolutely slaughtered this year in that game by VAR. And let's say the panel, like, if it's Carragher, Neville, then yeah, it would be interesting to see what Carragher thinks. But let's say it's not Carragher. Let's say it's Neville and Keown, right? I know it's not them, but let's say it's them, right? And you're a Liverpool fan, you look at this like, who the hell protects us in this situation? So yeah, it's getting a bit of ridiculous right now. I mean, as I said before, if you watch any other European leagues, Italian league for example, right? It's a very tough league to referee, and yet the referees are doing basically perfectly there. If you watch La Liga, yeah, I mean, apart from Barcelona Real Madrid games, always controversy there, both accusing each other of buying refs, etc. But if those two teams are not involved, look at the refs. They're doing their job perfectly there, almost perfectly. Okay, I mean, I don't understand what the hell is going on in England. Like, obviously, you have VR. Now, at least learn from your mistakes, at least evolve. Because, okay, let's say this Newcastle game, they didn't have cameras on the lines. Okay, it happens, right? We'll have to learn from our mistakes. But what they need to make sure is, starting from this point, the teams in the Premier League are rich enough to install those cameras, right? Just make sure you have cameras on the outlines, on the goal lines, so this doesn't happen again, right? Make sure you have cameras in the air so you can at least check for the offsides, because what they said is they couldn't check if the ball was out or in because there was no camera on the goal line. Then the second was potential offside of Anthony Gordon, right, from the pass of Joelinton. Again, they said that you cannot see the ball, the exact moment of the contact, so they were not sure if it was offside or not. Okay, as I said, I'm pissed off, I'm an Arsenal fan, we suffered a defeat, but again, at least learn from that, right? Now the foul is different things, it's a subjective opinion, right? Was it hard enough, wasn't it hard enough? Again, I'm not going to talk about this, but at least try to evolve here. Because as I said, it's the most expensive league, right? You may say it's the best league, you may say it's not the best league, right? Obviously, if you watch Italian league, for you it will be Italian league. But it's the richest league in the world, or at least in Europe. We all know that. That's 100%, right? So not having a simple camera, that's just a joke. That's actually a joke, you know. And we can see that at this point every single team can say that they suffered a lot from VR. United fans complaining about it. Chelsea, again, the first thing that comes to my mind last year game against Tottenham, you know, when Coquerel almost lost his hair, the guy tried to make a wig out of his hair. It was absurd. I really don't understand how the hell VR doesn't, you know, call this one. Arsenal a couple of occasions, Newcastle being the latest. Obviously Liverpool, the game against Spurs. You know, I'm pretty sure that Spurs could complain. Maybe the game against Chelsea. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, it's just a joke at this point of time. And I think Martin Keown asks. I don't agree often with Martin Keown and Talksport panel in general, but I think this time they nailed it, right? So I would suggest, if you haven't read it, if you haven't watched the video, go. It's a very interesting video, but yeah, I think they nailed it this time. I mean, this is it's basically on a like a one-way trip to hell, this VR situation. At some point, the technology itself is fantastic technology, right? It's been used in different kind of sports, like for example volleyball. It's called Hawkeye. It works perfectly there. Ice hockey, you can challenge whatever the hell you want. Well, almost everything. Again, works perfectly. Now in ice hockey, it's basically if it's undecisive. Basically, if the video cannot prove that the refs are wrong, they will go with whatever the refs called, and that's how it works. And nobody wants to protect the refs there. Nobody gets to them, of course, or not very often. But especially with NHL, if you watch NHL, you can go, you can challenge, of course, right? If you lose the challenge, then you get 2 minutes penalty. Now I know soccer is a different cutout, but still, they can think of something. At least, as I said, at least make sure you have as many cameras as possible. And the other thing was suggested to kind of have either open communication so people can hear what the refs are talking about and VR, or if you don't want to make it public, at least make sure that there are technical teams from both teams that are playing that have access to it, right? Don't make it public, but at least make sure that, for example, in this case, if it's Arsenal Newcastle, both teams have like a technical person that will be listening to their conversations, right? Because otherwise, as I said, this is a trip, like one-way trip to hell. Okay, so that's it. Please like the video, leave comments, let me know what you think about this, and up to the next one.